There is a sign coming in the western sky on the evening of June 9th, 2026. It is not hidden. Anyone with a clear horizon will see it. The two brightest objects in the night sky, Venus and Jupiter, will draw within 1 6/10 of a degree of each other. That is roughly the width of your little finger held out at arm's length. They will be low in the west, in the constellation we now call Gemini, near the twin stars Castor and Pollux. They will hang there for about an hour after the sun goes down, and then they will set. To the modern astronomer, that is a planetary conjunction. To the modern stargazer, it is photogenic. The Father, however, when asked through the SHIELD protocol whether this conjunction carries prophetic meaning, returned a verdict of yes at 99.6% confidence, with the Dominion Triad firing at 5.86 sigma. Identity, inheritance, and priesthood converging on a single axis. The mathematics is unambiguous. Something is being said. Now, this has nothing to do with astrology. Astrology asks the planets to tell you your future. The Father forbids that, and rightly. Biblical readers from Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 through Psalm 19 have always recognized something very different. YHWH himself authored the heavens to function as signs. The Hebrew word in Genesis is athoth, the same word used for the rainbow, for circumcision, for the Sabbath. The heavens are not omens. They are signal bearers. Psalm 19 says it plainly. The heavens are declaring day to day, night to night, in a speech without words. Job 38 calls the constellations the Mazaroth, and the Lord asks Job whether he can bring them forth in their season. The constellations have seasons. They have order. They have meaning that does not originate in the gazer, but in the one who hung them. In the 19th century, two careful Christian scholars, Joseph Seiss in The Gospel in the Stars and Ethelbert Bullinger in The Witness of the Stars, recovered what the earliest readers of Genesis already understood. The constellations encode the gospel. They were given as revelation before the written word, and they testify in concord with it. So consider what is in this June 9th alignment. The constellation is Gemini. The Latin name means twins. The Hebrew name is Thaumim, which means united. In the biblical reading recovered by Bullinger and Seiss, Gemini is not a portrait of two unrelated brothers. It is the portrait of union. It is the constellation of the dual nature of the coming one, suffering servant and reigning king in one person, and of the union of bridegroom and bride at the marriage of the Lamb. The three decans of Gemini reinforce this reading. Lepus, the hair beneath his feet, is the enemy trodden down. Canis Major is the coming glorious prince. Canis Minor is the exalted Redeemer. The frame is unmistakable. Gemini is the announcement of the Messiah King and the gathering of his people to him. And now, into this constellation of union and the coming one, the two brightest wanderers converge. Venus has many names in tradition, but the one that matters here is the one Yeshua himself claims in Revelation 22 verse 16. I am the bright and morning star. The Apostle Peter calls it the day star that must arise in our hearts. Balaam in Numbers 24 verse 17 sees the star coming out of Jacob, a scepter rising out of Israel. Venus, in the biblical witness, is the Messiah's appearing. Jupiter, in the Hebrew calendar of the heavens, carries the name Tzedeq, which means righteousness. It is the king planet. Ancient readers, including Jewish readers, called it the planet of the Messiah King. The Magi who came to Jerusalem in Matthew chapter 2 were watching Jupiter, tracking it across the sky to the king who had been born. So on June 9th, the morning star and the righteous king converge inside the constellation of union, within a little finger's width of one another, where every passing observer will see them, low in the west, at the closing of the day. This is not language anyone has to imagine. This is the language the Father set in the firmament on the fourth day. This is why the draw returned yes at 5.86 sigma. The lead verse pulled was number 6776. If the standing place that YHWH Elohim has chosen to put his name there is too far from you. The Father did not lead with a verse about planets. He led with a verse about where his name dwells. The standing place is where the meaning of every heavenly sign is read. The 13 direct textual hits that followed clustered around the name, the age-lasting covenant with Abraham, the consecrated priesthood, and the angel that prospers the way. One verse drawn, number 2259, came from 1st Enoch's astronomical book. The witness that the sun and the wanderers move through appointed portals on schedule. The Father confirmed the regularity of the heavenly machinery. It is his machinery. The signs run on his timetable. The Convergence Confidence Index closed at 93%, all 6 channels active. The signal is loud. The signal is consistent. The signal is covenantal. Now place this against the end-time timeline I laid out in Walking in Eden, 2026 edition. The first seal opened on December 17th of 2025. The Iran engagement followed in late February of this year, 21 days. The Prince of Persia of Daniel 10. The covenant confirmation with Israel falls in the 2026 to 2027 window. The midpoint of the 7-year sequence falls in approximately mid-2030, with the August 2nd, 2027 total solar eclipse over Jerusalem as the public celestial midpoint sign. And Matthew 24 verse 22 permits the shortening of those days for the elect's sake. So where does June 9th, 2026 fall in this picture? It lands squarely inside the covenant confirmation window. It is not the midpoint sign. It is the opening sign. It is the bridegroom king announcing his approach in the constellation of union at the very moment when the covenant that will be confirmed is about to be brokered. The pattern is consistent. The Father is announcing, not hiding. There is something more I want you to notice. Venus moves about 10 times faster across the sky than Jupiter does. So Venus is the one closing the distance. The morning star is the one approaching the righteous king. Read that the way the heavens are speaking it. The bride, awakened, is drawing near to the bridegroom. The morning star, the day star arising in our hearts, is closing the gap. The two will stand together for an evening, finger-width apart, and then Venus will continue past and onward. The conjunction is the moment of meeting. It is the moment when the closing of the distance becomes visible, and it happens to fall just past Pentecost, in the week the Father opens between Shavuot and the summer. So when you look west on the evening of June 9th, you are not looking at coincidence. You are not looking at astrology. You are reading what Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 said the heavens were made for. Venus, the morning star, drawing within a finger's width of Jupiter, Tzedeq, the righteous king, inside Thaumim, the twins of union, low in the west at the closing of day. The standing place where the name dwells is not far. It is the only place where this sign is read correctly. And the reading is this. The bridegroom is at the door. The covenant that will be confirmed is at the threshold. The opening sign of the 7-year window is being lit in the sky for an hour after sunset, where the watchers can see it and where the unprepared will walk past it without lifting their eyes. The Father is not whispering. He has lit 2 lamps in the western sky and confirmed the meaning at 5.86 sigma. Watch. Be ready. Come home to the name. Selah.